We've been talking about local budget and property taxes, and the one statewide office from which all of Florida's financials flow is up for election this year. We're talking about the state's chief financial officer. The Republican auditing local budgets is running to keep his job, and Democrats have a primary to settle first. Take a look. The chief financial officer is Florida's money watchdog. The office oversees state finances, serves as fire marshal, and is a check on the insurance industry. The man in the job now is Republican Blaise Ingoglia, appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis last year. Since then, he's undertaken a vast audit of local budgets, calling out what he labels wasteful spending.
I would love for every county, every city, every taxing authority in the state of Florida to have their own DOJ committee, because they should be looking at line-by-line spending. It should be part of their job. It should be normal for them.
Frontrunner Ingoglia ties local government audits to the bigger fight on November's ballot, a constitutional amendment to cut property taxes. But first, voters will decide in the primary who gets to challenge him. The two Democrats squaring off are seen as two very different candidates. One is from right here in the Tampa Bay area, Earl Ford. He's an Army veteran, an attorney, and a former IRS investigator. He recently left a Pinellas congressional race to run for CFO. Ford's platform centers on the homeowners insurance crisis and calls the property tax debate a distraction from the insurance premiums squeezing families.
The state needs to be the referee and needs to be the gatekeeper and make sure everything is on the up and up.
His opponent is Annette Taddeo, a former state senator from South Florida. A familiar name in Democratic politics, she was a nominee for lieutenant governor and for Congress. She's built her campaign on insurance costs, government accountability, and she argues the office should be an independent check on the governor.
It's supposed to be, I should say, the watchdog. And what we currently have is a lapdog for the governor. This should not be about going after blue cities or blue counties versus red counties. The people suffering in Florida, they're both Republican, Democrat, and independent.
And we want to point out that Florida runs a closed primary, so only registered Democrats get to pick that nominee next month. Victor, I'd like to start with you and then move on to Jake. What do you think about the candidates for CFO on the Democratic side?
I think overall, what the polls are showing now that I've seen is the level of excitement for Democrats is off the charts right now. I mean, independents are going, I've seen 70-80% for the Democratic side. Democrats are very excited. Republicans are not as much because there's no Donald Trump on the ballot. There's a very controversial primary going on the Republican side between Byron Donalds, who's Trump's pick, which some people are not too crazy about, and
Other
Paul
Republican
Renner.
Candidates for governor would like to get some more attention.
Absolutely.
To force a debate between the Republican candidates.
And even DeSantis came out and said, I wouldn't qualify in the debate because they're making it, you got to have, ironically, it's exactly what Donald says, the same number of contributions, the same amount of money in the bank, and the same percentage in the polls. So it's kind of weird the way they set up the
But the CFO is really, it's really not getting a lot of attention, and yet it is a very important position.
Yes.
Jake, do you think that the reports and the activities that have come out since Blaise Ingoglia was appointed will help him or hurt him in the actual election for the role?
Well, I think this is going to help him. I mean, it only helps to go around the state and try to make local government more efficient. It only helps to tell people that they're going to keep more money in their pocket. I think, to your point, people don't pay attention to the CFO. And as much as we may talk about it, or your viewers might talk about it because they watch Florida This Week and they're interested to go in depth on these things, the average person is not going to know who the CFO is, and it's going to be a down ballot race, and they're going to vote for the governor, and they're going to vote whether they like the governor, Republican or Democrat, and then we are everybody else down the ballot is a recipient of what happens at the top.